Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you back to my YouTube channel, and I want to appreciate those of you who subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I also believe that you enjoy all the videos that I've posted on my channel. And at the same time, I want to appreciate those people that commented and those people that asked one or two questions, which I've replied to all the questions. I want to appreciate you all, and I want to appreciate those people that share this video. I mean, my former video, and those people that is going to share this video, and the other any other videos that we are going to be posting on this platform. And as you all know, this channel is all about free to air satellites. Anything that has to do with free to air, this channel is all about that. And today, I will not waste our time. We are going to be looking at another thing that has to do with free to air. That has to do with free to air. Free to air is involving in the world of satellites. And today, I will be discussing introduction to free to air satellites, part one. Introduction to free to air satellite part 1. So everything that has to do with free to air satellite, I will be discussing it today. Everything that has to do with the kind of equipment that you need to buy, the accessory that you need to buy, or some of the satellite that you need to track, or that your installer need to track. These are the things I will be discussing today on this platform. Now let's quickly look at the introduction of today's topic, that is Introduction to Free to Air Part 1. Now, what is FTA or free to air? Another FTA simply means free to air. Now, free to air are television services broadcasted in unencrypted form, allowing anyone or any person with the appropriate receiving equipment to receive the signal and view or listen to the content without requiring a subscription. That is, you watch every content you watch on free to air, you don't need to pay for it. You don't need to use data to watch it because it is free to air. That is, it is not encrypted, it is unencrypted. That is, you don't need to pay every month like you pay for DSTV, GoTV, StarTimes, and other pay to air services. This one is free to air, you don't need to pay for it once you have the right equipment. Now, when we talk about equipment in this regard, what are the equipment that is needed for you to power a free to air satellite? Now, when we talk about equipment, we are talking about the general accessories that is going to be needed for your free to air. Let's take, for example, when you're setting up your free to air satellite, you need a decoder. That one is very, very important. You need a decoder, you need a dish, and you need a cable. Now, when we talk about decoder, now this is very important aspect of this, and that is why anytime you want to make a purchase of any decoder, I will advise you to contact a professional free-to-air installer or a professional installer that can recommend the kind of decoder you need to buy, so as for you to enjoy a good content. Now, we have different decoders which perform different functions. I mean, we have different decoders which perform different function. And I believe you are also, as this video is going on, those decoders are being displayed. Now, there are two categories of decoder. We have H264. We also have H265 decoder. Now, please don't get it wrong. When we talk about H264 decoder, these are the decoder that can view some satellites. Please quote, some satellites. That is, there are some satellites that H264 decoder may not be able to watch, or there are some content or program that H.264 decoder may not be able to watch because it is not designed in that way. Or you may be able to track the satellite, and after tracking the satellite, all you see is the voice. The picture is not coming out. That means that the decoder is not full HD. Now, when we talk about H.265 decoder, this decoder can amplify voice and at the same time amplify video. And they can pick some channels, some satellites. For example, it can be used to watch TSTV channels, then it can be used to watch any satellite that supports H.265. These are the two types of decoder that I'm talking about. That is the H.264 decoder and H.265. Then what are the categories of decoder? We have different type of decoder now these days. We have different types of decoder. Traditionally, when decoder was just coming up, what is most common then was strong. Strong is the most common decoder that every household knows about then. But now we have different model, different types of decoder. Now, for example, we have a strong. We still have strong, of which there is strong that supports H.264, there's strong that is H.265 compliant. We have strong, we have media star, we have tiger, we have Astar, we have Senator TikTok, we have Dontel, we have Digisat, we have um, uh, we have a DICOM, we have a Cupid, we have a SQS3, we have different type of decoders, different dimension. But I want you to note, if you are buying a decoder, you must be careful before you make your selection video because there are some decoder that does not really have more capacity to carry channels. So if you are buying a decoder, I would advise that you consult a professional installer who can recommend a good decoder because as we have multiple of decoder, we also have fake decoder that is not good enough for satellite. I mean, so the primary function of a satellite frequency is to transfer and receive signal from satellite communication. When we talk about frequency, it's just a five number. Without frequency, there's no way you can watch a satellite. It is the frequency that you input into your decoder that will make the decoder to transmit the satellite or the channels. Now, what are the major characteristics of free-to-air satellite? But before I go on that one, I would like to mention some of the satellites that is very common so that on this satellite we have different satellites that you can track your channels from. For example, we have a Intersat 68E. Okay, this Intersat 28E, I mean 68E, is for church satellites. On this satellite, you see a lot of church uh, church activities being aired on it. For example, if a pastor, a clergyman, if you want a channel that will transmit religious activity, then I would recommend that you go and track 68E, Intersat 68E. Then we also have a Berlin-Intersat 51E. We also have a Hotbed. We have a Narsat. We have Astra 28E, which is Joy TV. We also have a popular one called Nightcom Sats. Then aside from that one, we have a Itusalat 36E, which is DSTV. These are the these are some of the satellites that we have that you can use to track your channels. signal. So, but the one that is free there among the one that I've just mentioned now is Nigecomsat, which is at 42E. We also have Astra 28E. For those of you that love Nigerian uh, movie, I'm very sure if you try this satellite, you are going to enjoy it. Astra 28E, which is Joy TV. Okay, and not only Nigerian movie, you also see some of the American movie, and sometimes they do carry football. They carry live football. Like currently, there's a channel on 28E that air the preseason, and that channel is called Globe TV. This is a channel that even DSTV does not carry the preseason. It's only this channel on 28E that air preseason match. And they have been doing it back to back. Last season they carry all the matches of the preseason. So if you are the type that loves watching movie and sometimes sports, I will employ you to track Astra 28E. Okay. Then if you have any question to ask, you may likely send it, uh, put it in a comment section. Definitely, I'm going to reply you. Then, what are the characteristics of free-to-air satellite? What are the characteristics? They are free from any form of paid subscription. Once you have the right equipment, you can enjoy them for a lifetime. As I've said at the beginning, free-to-air satellite does not need subscription once you have the right equipment. And the right equipment that we're talking about here is the decoder and the dish. Now, before I move on, there are two types of dish. I mean, there are 90 centimeter dish, and we also have a 60 centimeter dish. Okay, but I will advise you to always use 90 centimeter dish. Is more bigger than 60 centimeter. On the 90 centimeter, first of all, is very strong and it can contain strong wind. It's not that flexible like 60 centimeter dish. Now, number two characteristic, it is generally believed that free to air a don't have interesting channels or program. I strongly object to this as I will consider it a subjective claim. You see, some people believe that free-to-air satellite don't have interesting channels or program or whatever. I disagree with this. I disagree with it. There are some free-to-air satellite now that has better content, even more than DSTV. Let's take for example Nigecomsat on 42E. They have NBC, and NBC will give you back to back some films, some American movie. Okay, so it depends on the satellite that you track. If you are the one that loves preaching, you know, you cannot track satellite that will not be giving you, that will not give preaching services. Now, if you are the type that love, maybe you love action film or you love news, then I will recommend that you track Nigecom Sats, which is on 42E. So it depends on the content that you track. If you track a good content, a good satellite, in fact, you will even enjoy it more than paid services. I mean, paid to air satellites, of which even DSTV repeat some of their movie. But on free to air, you have varieties. You have different uh, channels that you can play or that you can watch. Okay. For example, it is. For example, if you love football, you know, you can track Belintosat. On that package, there are some football channels that you can watch from that satellite. Okay. Then at the same time, another characteristic of a free-to-air satellite is that you don't need to use your data. There are some that use data, there are some that you may not need to use data. And using the data, it means that you are buying a forever server decoder. If you are buying just a nice strong decoder, ViewSat 2050 and Dontel and some other decoder, you may not need to use an internet connection before you watch whatever you want to watch. But if you're now buying a server decoder like MediaStar, Astar, Tiger, on this one, you may need to connect your data with it. Then I would like to say something before I stop on this video. IKS or SKS decoder are not exactly the same as free-to-air receiver. They are not the same thing. IKS decoder are not the same thing with free-to-air receiver. Free-to-air receiver will not come with preloaded special account like Tiger. Tiger comes with an account that helps you to watch some premium channel. Okay, preloaded special accounts and will not require internet connection to watch any program. That is, uh, there are some decoder that you may need to connect your data with it before you can use it. These are IKS decoder. And there are some decoder that you don't need to connect your decoder, your internet or router with. These are purely free to air satellite receiver. So, and as I've said earlier on, there are a lot of benefit that you can derive from using a free to air satellite, which I've just mentioned some of the benefits. You don't need to pay at the end of the month. It is free and it is totally free. But there's something I would like you to know today because some people believe that once they are using free to air satellite, it is forever. I want to correct a notion. Now, at times, some of the satellite do change their position, and once they change their position, it does not mean that you are not going to watch them. On that regard, what is needed is for you to call your installer to come and reposition or realign the dish to that new position. So it does not mean that once you install free-to-air satellite, it is permanent forever. Sometimes they may change their degree, their position, maybe from 42E to 38E or to 68E. Once they change it, you may not be able to watch it again from that current position. You may just need to call your installer to come and help you to check it and to reposition it. These are some of the shortcomings that you may likely experience while using free-to-air decoder. But on the normal sense, free-to-air decoder or free-to-air satellite is still the best because there are some content that you watch that is even latest more than pay-to-air satellite. So I think I have to stop because I'm still going to do the part two of the introduction. That is, this is just the part one. I'm still going to release a video that has to do with the part two of introduction to free-to-air satellites. On that part two, there are some things that I'm going to discuss that I may not be able to discuss it on this one. Thank you for listening, and please try to subscribe to my channel because once you subscribe, if I release any video, you have the opportunity to watch it. Not only subscribing, try to copy the link and post it to your WhatsApp status so that you may have a friend or family members that may want to watch a free to air or that is interested in free to air satellite but they don't know how to go about it. They can learn something from there and get their own free to air satellite. And at the same time, make sure you comment if there's anything you want me to talk about, or if there's any question you want to ask, make sure you also comment. Thank you for listening. And at the same time, if you want me to recommend a decoder for you, you can also comment. Then I will recommend a good decoder for you. We are into selling, and at the same time, we are into installation of a free-to-air satellite. Thank you, and stay blessed.